traffic, all your personal details, your chats, your pictures, everything.
Your passcodes?
Yep, exactly. And there are plenty of companies out there who would love to get your email address, whether you gave it to them or not, and then, sign you up for all sorts of lists, and you go from there.
Well, if government and industry from the beginning had promoted security and a free system, a free state, we wouldn't be having this disaster. I'm no tech guru like you, but I just see nothing but a house of horrors coming in the future as spying is ubiquitous. Everything's got back doors. The young people just are wide open with their info. It's being exploited by governments, corporations, and grassroots criminals. It's just, why do you think governments in the system, or maybe you disagree, have promoted, why are they promoting Wi-Fi instead of grounded cables? Why are they going with the system so wide open?
In some degrees, it's just about control. That, people get into power and they want control over others. And how do they do that? Well, if they have an asymmetry of information where they have more information about you and they think they can predict you and they think they know everything about you while you know little about them, that's probably the core of the problem, that much more transparency. And I know you mentioned whistleblowers earlier. We probably wouldn't be having this conversation unless Edward Snowden, and I've spent time talking to William Binney face to face, and Drake and others, and their efforts to sort of force transparency on power structures has made people wake up and start realizing what's going on.
They are such heroes. In fact, I want to give you the floor because you're the expert on this. Get into the NSA. Get into the attack on whistleblowers, bipartisan. It's classical totalitarianism. That's what Benny called to The Guardian. But, you've got the floor to talk to the audience about things you think are important instead of me just throwing questions out here.
You're happy to ask questions.
What's most important for folks to know right now?
The internet is a network. Networks are designed to be recorded and watched at every single point. It's not just the 1% of the tech people who sort of understand how networks work. As a former network engineer myself, one of the things I was hired to do was to watch the network, look for attacks, figure out who's doing what. And it's trivially easy if you control the network. If you think of the internet as just a larger network, which it is, it becomes easier. With enough money, you can do anything. I think what's started to happen have been, the press has started to wake up to realize what the NSA and GCHQ, and, frankly, we've heard that the FSB in Russia and the Chinese, I think it's MSS, are the equivalent agencies, can do with the internet and watch everything. What that results in is that journalists used to have to go to court and get, subpoenaed, get hauled into the court to say, give us your sources. We want to know who leaked the data about whatever. Now the government will still do that just to harass them, but at the same time says, we actually have all your data because we've been spying on you for years. We know who your source is, and we've already taken care of them, however we deem necessary. In most of the Western world, that's a fine, chilling effect. But we've worked with journalists who are working against corrupt intelligence agencies, far more corrupt than the NSA, who are in with human trafficking cartels, drug cartels. This is how they fund themselves.
That's right.
And, I won't name a specific region, but, there are plenty of regions where you can imagine that human trafficking and drug cartels rule the government.
Mexico, Middle East, Central Asia.
Sure. So journalists in that situation, wind up dead.
And for those that don't know, our government hands that over to Jordan or to Pakistan or to whoever. This is beyond the lives of others and other examples of East German Stasi. This is so evil. And it's being done for political control. They're not even using this illegally, quote, on bad guys. They are using it against journalists. As you know, they've tried to put William Binney in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, and Drake. I've talked to them both, and they're both have told me, the nightmares they've lived through, and what their sort of attitude is. Funny because their attitude has been that, I just don't use computers anymore because there's nothing safe I can do on them.
Well, yeah, they'll just use the computers to set you up. That's a whole other issue with these being two-way, is you can't believe anything. And then with parallel construction, sneak and peeks, I mean, the entire judiciary system, in my view, is illegitimate now. We'll be right back.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
The feds are trying to ban your right to own body armor. It is crucial to purchase your body armor before it is too late and another one of your rights are taken away. Cady Armor has the most affordable Level 3 armor on the market today. Cady Armor withstands up to 7.62 NATO rounds. Don't have your own body armor yet? Hurry before it's too late. Order yours at CadyArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Come and take it. Get some.
A 30-day GMO-free emergency food supply for only $99 at 30dayfoodsupply.com. You can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1-month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals. For less than $100, these vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They're completely free of any artificial flavors and colorings, have a 20-year shelf life, and take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans. They even offer a gluten-free option. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order. Visit the website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
My Magic Mud is a tooth whitening powder that removes plaque and detoxifies your mouth. It's safe for your enamel, giving you a beautiful polish and a dentist-like clean after every use. My Magic Mud is also the perfect remedy for pain caused by sensitivity. It strengthens your teeth and gums for a strong, healthy smile. The ingredients are 100% natural and it's safe for children. Simply brush with My Magic Mud right before bedtime for a cleaning you can count on. Visit mymagicmud.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
The Associated Press last week, and then the big Federation of Journalists this week, sent letters to Obama saying, please stop having Holder attack the press. Well, Holder has stepped down. Was it a giant piece of corruption that was coming out that was too embarrassing, or has he outlived his usefulness? Is he going to cash in with a golden parachute? Your call's coming up in the next segment. Andrew Lumen is our guest. The website is torproject.org. And it's time to start thinking about not just how we're being tracked, but radiation dangers, microwave radiation, cell phones, to have a discussion about all these computers and all these phones. And it has a lot of great uses, but it's also changing our civilization, and not for the better, because all these Trojan horses are involved. Andrew, talking to Drake and talking to Benny and others, where they've tried to indict them, tried to set them up. They have gone after other whistleblowers. I mean, you're supposed to be protected when you're exposing a crime. And look at how Snowden has had to flee and been demonized when they were lying before, saying none of this was going on. Why aren't they getting in trouble for committing the crimes?
I don't know. It's a fine question. I think the public needs to stand up and figure out what's going on and get people to. There are people that care in the government. I've met them. They call them future whistleblowers, call them whatever. They do think this is a way out of control.
That's what's crazy is people in the federal government I meet are more awake than the general public.
Right, and that they're worried because, I had a conversation with an agent in DHS, and he said, at some point, I'm going to retire, and I do not want to retire into this world. And he goes, I'm thinking about leaving the U.S. too. And I was like, wait, you're a federal agent. You spent your entire life doing this, and this is your concern. He's like, right, like what's going on here? He's like, what's happening? They're going to use all the power you give them, and then they're going to keep using power even if you don't give it to them until they're slapped down saying, don't do that. That's bad.
Exactly. And people, just like you couldn't get organic food 20 years ago, now it's displacing all the garbage at the shopping market, at the grocery store. We voted with our dollars, and it changed the paradigm. If we all start going and using Tor, if we all start, getting rid of our cell phones or not taking them with us all the time or turning them off, if we all start researching the system, we could really change the paradigm.
Right. I think that you look at where technology was 14, 20 years ago, and how much improvements it's made and how much corporations have improved security over time. Because, they have these incentives of it affects our revenues, it affects our company. People are starting to get that power and starting to understand why a company would do that and why they want personal security and why they want, a phone that's secure and things like that. So I think it's going to take time, but it's coming. Look at what teenagers use today. I do a lot of work with teenagers, and they tell me the reason they choose, various apps like Whisper and Snapchat and Secret and whatever else they use are because they advertise as secure, ephemeral things so that it's not on some permanent record. And, you do dumb things as a teenager, which is when you're supposed to be doing it, and it comes and goes away.
That's right. What do you think of Apple's new claims that they're doing some things that make it harder for illegal surveillance to take place?
I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that, any company who wants to publicly come out and say they are paying attention to privacy, it may or may not have been related to the celebrity photo leaks that suddenly forced their hand. But, there'll be more just like this. I mean, just look at Home Depot and Target have had two of the largest credit card breaches ever. And maybe now, after their stock or their revenues or something take a hit.
You know what I like? They don't get in my face now at Barnes & Noble and Target demanding I get one of their smart cards now. They've actually shut up about it because obviously everybody's blowing up at them saying, no, I don't want my data stolen.
Right. And that concept right there has been years in the making. And when the average person can say, what are you doing with my data? Where do you store it? How do you store it? That's a far, far better conversation than we've ever had in the past.
Well, Andrew, I hope you'll come back with us in the future. It's Lewman.is, LEWMAN.is, and torproject.org. Look, I'm not a techie, but I'm learning slowly how it all works, trying to understand it, interviewing all the top experts here on a weekly basis, and make a few easy decisions out there and protect yourself and your family. It's like locking your door at night. It's not that you're living in fear. It's just that that's an added measure of protection to lock your door at night. It's very simple, and having internet security and encoding what you're doing, using Tor is just another level of that. I think it's a great idea. Andrew, thanks for the time.
Great. Thanks for having me.
All right. Wow, that's a big dog in the whole free movement on the internet. Andrew Lumen, Executive Director of the Tor Project. I'm Alex Jones. Your calls are 3 minutes away. We're going right to you.
We're on the march.